focus on your words and the tone in which they're said to elevate the experience.
Welcome, everyone, to the Driving Vision podcast brought to you by the Zeigler Auto Group. I'm your host, Sam Dark. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, like it if you do, and leave a comment. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Driving Vision Future of Zag Today podcast. With us today is Darren Ross.
I'm Darren Ross. I own a hotel management company called Service Freak Hospitality, and we lease and operate the Magic Castle Hotel in Hollywood.
So, Darren, you just spent an hour and a half with Team Zeigler, so you get a couple accolades. Number one, you actually went longer than most speakers go. They usually are encapsulated. They're stuck in that 60-minute time frame. And you pulled us out of our comfort zone in a way that's pretty unique. You're one of the first people that actually brought people into activity. You asked them to do things. You asked them to get up and be uncomfortable. You asked them to like grab their shoulder.
Yeah, that's always a touchy one.
And clap.
No pun intended. Right.
And do things, right? to create movement.
Right.
As from a speaker strategy standpoint, why?
Well, I've seen a lot of speakers.
Yeah.
And some great, some not so great.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody in your audience has probably had that experience also.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to just sit there and listen to one person talk for an hour.
Yeah.
It's not that much fun.
Get engaged. Yeah.
Get engaged.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have that a little bit of pressure that they have to be in tune with the speaker and what's going on. They're gonna have to think and work in teams. And I think it's just more valuable for the audience as a whole.
Part of your message too has to do with movement and has to do with activity. So the Magic Castle Hotel in Hollywood, California, a place that has developed a great reputation. I'm going to say something you may get offended by, but I think it makes a point. So buckle up. It's not like, as a hotel, it's not a Four Seasons. It's not a,
What?
it's not. It's like, I look at it and it's like, you know what? It's not a dump, but it's not, and please forgive me.
You're fine.
It's not a top of the line hotel, a super expensive hotel.
No.
And yet, despite physical facilities, you create an experience for your customers that is elite, that is incredible. And isn't that part of the message here with Team Zeigler, regardless of the franchise, the brand, the physical facilities, the customers, the place you are, like you can make a difference in a customer's life.
Absolutely, and that's what we're trying to do. We try to create these moments for people.
Yeah.
And those moments are these memories.
Yeah.
And our goal is to have our guests leave feeling compelled to tell the world about this unique experience they just had. And that is, like you mentioned, that is part of our story. That we're not this fancy facility. We're not Four Seasons. We're not a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Literally on our website, there's a 5-minute video of me explaining the hotel. And one of the things I say is, if you're looking for shiny and new, this might not be the hotel for you. And that's okay. We want you to enjoy your holiday.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't want guests. We don't want people to be disappointed.
Yeah.
We want to undersell it and over-deliver it. And so when they come up, they're delighted. That's the goal.
Now, you're in an area that's highly competitive in the hotel space.
Sure. Yeah,
so people check out of your hotel and end up, you gave an example, end up going to a Disney resort hotel, which is famous for service.
Sure.
And you outpunted them, right? And you tell the story of delivering a product to a customer, right?
Yeah, well, this particular guest was leaving, and they had little kids, and she says, and fortunately we hear this a lot, you've ruined the next hotels for my kids. You've ruined them.
Yeah.
And so jokingly, she said she likes Marmite, and I went onto Amazon and bought some and had it delivered to her hotel the next day, which they loved. And that created that memory.
So thinking about the automotive world, what are some specific components of what you shared today that auto dealers, our stores, could instantly implement to create our mission statement is to create an ultimate automotive experience for our customers. And by the way, in doing that, we create that experience for each other, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are some actionable things you could recommend our stores or teams do today to create that experience?
Today, you could really focus on your words and the tone in which they're said. To elevate the experience.
Give me an example.
Instantly. Well, we talked today about, at our hotel, our welcome speech, we have the one mandatory line, and then the employees could finish with the welcome speech however they want to finish it.
Which, by the way, your one mandatory line is, I wrote this down, I love it. I'd love to see us implement this. I'd like to take a moment to tell you what a pleasure it is to have you with us.
I think it was very close, and you're going to pass on that. That
and by
really,
the way,
really
in the Subaru world, to our Subaru stores, president of Subaru COO, They just implemented something where you put your hand over your heart and you say, I'd love to. And both of those have a very unique way of connecting with a customer in a way that we don't, right?
That's right.
Is that what that does?
Absolutely. And what it does, it does a couple things. One, it's a show of respect for your customers.
Yeah.
And people are not accustomed in today's world, I hate to sound like an old guy, but in today's world where everything is sped up and we're moving towards self-service with technology, which is great.
Yeah.
But with that comes this opportunity to really stand out by slowing down and showing the respect to your customer. And when we say, I just want to take a moment to tell you what a pleasure it is to have you with us, it might be awkward to say at first, but it's not awkward to receive it. It's really beautiful to receive it and moving to people.
Yeah.
And I was saying in my talk today that a lot of people have tears in their eyes. They get emotional because they're not used to people slowing down for them. And slowing down for your customer doesn't have to mean you take more time with them. It's just the words and the tone. Intentional.
Connected.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Connect emotionally.
Exactly.
So, all right. So I took a crack at the hotel. I'm going to tell you the second thing that I think is a challenge with this. Here's the biggest challenge with doing this. It's beautiful. It delivers a great experience to a customer. It connects employee to customer in a way that's neat. Here's the problem. It relies on an employee that does it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again to deliver that over and over and over and over and be able to do it in an intentional way and a connecting way. So how do you solve for that?
Yeah, well, it's hard, which is why everyone doesn't do it.
Yeah.
It's manual. It's one customer at a time, right? We have meetings. We talk about things. There's an incentive program built in for them to create these stories for our guests. I talked about how we don't give incentive to sell. Instead, we do incentive to create moments.
Four Seasons does that. Ritz-Carlton does that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The author of Unreasonable Hospitality, who I've heard speak, has a way of doing that. Yeah. It's so simple. Why is it that some people, things can be simple but not easy?
Right.
Why is it all about the execution sometimes?
Right, yeah. Well, that's our popsicle hotline example. Yeah. It's so simple. Yeah. It's so simple and inexpensive, yet so effective. Yeah. It's so effective. So we look for those things. And
share the popsicle hotline, because as you go into that, I have a question on that.
Yeah, that's fine. So when I started at the hotel, there was this beige phone. I mentioned it's a converted apartment building. Yeah. And there was a beige phone, which would have been like a house phone. Yeah. It had buttons on it, and nobody ever used it at the hotel. And we were also, at the time, I wanted to start doing popsicles, and we would just do it when there was somebody out by the pool. If we noticed them, we'd bring out a tray of popsicles, and that was fun. And literally one day I'm driving to work, and for some reason it just hit me. Yeah. And the beauty of being able to order things online and having them in 2 days. Yeah. I ordered this red phone. Yeah. It's a true hotline. Yeah. No buttons, no dials. And we designed this colorful sign that says Popsicle Hotline. And all you do is lift up the red phone, and we answer Popsicle Hotline. Yeah. Then the kid will ask for a popsicle. And then a minute later, we're wearing white gloves, silver tray, and free popsicles by the pool. And what that does, it just creates
a delightful experience.
It's a delightful experience. We have parents who want to capture the moment. They're taking movies.
Oh, look, our 8-year-old kid is using a phone connected to a wall with a cord.
It is so funny.
And they have no idea how to use it.
That's exactly right. That literally happens all the time. Yeah. We have the kids don't know. They don't know which end to speak in. It's really
It seems to me, as you describe this, again, going back to the employee, the incentives have got to be right. Because going back to the popsicle hotline, I could see a case where you get a kid, as kids are, going to keep calling that thing every 2 minutes.
Totally.
And there's going to be somebody on the other end of the line with the tray and the white gloves that's going to be like, here we go again.
Here we go.
Look at this kid. Yeah. Look at this kid. And they have to go out and with a smile deliver the tray of popsicles.
It's showtime.
How do you solve for that?
It's showtime. We do it. There are exceptions, by the way. The customer's not
You don't
always
have to be abused. Yeah.
We draw the line there. Yeah. And you know, we have free snacks at our hotel.
Yeah, free soda, free ice cream.
Free soda, free ice cream. But we have snacks. People will come to the desk at 11 o'clock at night. They want a Kit Kat bar, they want stickers, and whatever. We give it to them. But once in a while, there's a family or people who abuse it. Yeah. And we'll tell them,
Yeah.
Because it's our hotel.
Yeah.
We don't need to be abused.
Yeah.
But that happens, I can count on one hand how many times that's happened.
Isn't it interesting, though? It's probably the exception rather than the rule.
Oh, absolutely.
And too many businesses, you mentioned, every now and again you relook at the free snack thing and you're like, hey, economically, does this make sense? The outliers try to, but we always make a bigger deal of the outlier than it ends up being.
Right.
And in business,
Exactly.
sometimes it's truth that we create a policy for the outlier,
Yes.
and it destroys it for everyone else. Right?
Correct. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's why we haven't changed the free snacks in. I think we've been doing it for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
We've been doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, some months. Oh my God, what do we spend on Kit Kat bars?
Yeah. So you've been doing this for 20 years, and you've discovered the secret of service and extraordinary moments to create an extraordinary experience. And then you've traveled all over the world. You just came from Australia, where you presumably shared this message, TEDx and in other places. Are there examples of companies that have lit up and changed their strategy and approach as a result of this advice and seen kind of a reawakening in it? Because I imagine as an employee, the other thing this does for me, it's exciting. It
is exciting.
Have that popsicle tray, to give the free treats and not have to log every 99 cent, whatever.
It's so exciting.
At a human level, we want to create that great experience for other people. We want to connect with other people. We want to serve other people, right?
Absolutely.
Are there examples of other companies?
Yeah, the most exciting for me is when there's an industry that's not known for its service, and then all of a sudden they're known for service within their industry.
Yeah.
And that to me is super rewarding. The one comes to mind is a company called Fantastic IT, who I've worked with. And they've always been a great company. They've always been customer service focused, but we took them to the
IT. They're a
level.
bunch of technicians.
A bunch of technicians.
They don't care about customer service, right?
But they're actually cool, and they speak the language to the customers. They don't.
Okay.
They don't talk above them. They convert it. They convert it. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's also what I found is the companies who hire me to come are the companies like here who are already doing a great job, who already understand how important service is. I'm not convincing people that they should do things differently and all of a sudden have a different approach to or a different mindset on customer service. They have the mindset, but maybe just not some of it.
So you alluded to something today. Customer service in automotive sucks, by and large. Why is that? Why is there a perception out there?
Well, there's that stigma.
We try super hard, and yet over and over again, the industry, not our team, hopefully we deliver above and beyond consistently. There's an industry stigma that we're terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
from your perspective,
we've all bought
why?
cars. We've all bought cars before. It takes a long time. There's always the stress of the negotiation of the car. And I think that really stresses people out a lot.
Yeah.
Some people aren't built for that.
Yeah.
So like for me personally, it's always the negotiating,
and
then the process, and then finance, and then it's a long process. It's not fun. It's fun to get the car at the end, but it's not fun buying the car. There's that stigma. Yeah.
So you tried really hard today to not give us all the answers, but have us act so that we had some muscle memory. Mike, I thought that was super genius to have us say this welcome speech, because that's step one to getting it. Hopefully, Team Zeigler, we implement and apply this. Give us the answer, though, now. Thinking about your process and our experience, you've presumably bought a car before. Where could we inject those magic moments, as you talk about, into the process? You and your hotel of the popsicle hotline, you do free laundry, which I can only I would start doing the living hell out of that thing.
I think you should start doing laundry for your customers. It just makes sense.
You give free food. You talk about a service reflex. From your perspective as a car buyer, what could we do in the automotive industry that would apply
if you
that?
look at those examples, like the free snacks.
Yeah.
When you go to a hotel, what's your biggest fear in the room? The minibar.
Oh, no, dirty sheets for me. But yes, all right, minibar. We'll get
I don't mind those.
Okay.
I'm joking. No, but the minibar prices is a popular answer.
Outrageously
the cashews and the what? Right.
Yeah.
It's like shopping at the airport.
$30 for a small bag of nuts. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that is a pain point for people. And we try to address that head on and do the opposite.
Yeah.
It's free. It's so great. So I would say for your industry is take those pain points and address them head on, and to the extent you can, do the opposite.
Yeah.
Do the opposite.
Interesting.
And that is what will compel people to keep talking about it and keep coming back.
Yeah. So there's a perception long waits in line, Mike, is what I think about, right? Attack that.
Attack that. Exactly.
Or a perception, maybe transparency. Attack that. Make it more transparent.
Attack it.
So I'm trying to think, Because to me, every hotel you walk into, you have to pay for the nuts.
Exactly.
What is the free nuts in automotive, right? Or
What
what's
is the
the
free
free
nuts in automotive?
popsicle,
Right.
Or what's the free, cookie or whatever.
Right.
That service reflex, Mike. I think you have that. Like you've done such a great job in our auto group of creating that service reflex. Diamond drops. There's no other auto group in the country that you can write a gratitude note, pass it to a fellow employee, or even a customer or a fellow speaker. You received one today from Mike. And it creates that connection. It lights you up.
Absolutely.
And it creates that extraordinary moment. Mike, you had a question.
Yeah, Darren talked about just taking a deep breath, taking a moment, and slowing down. Mm-hmm. And for us at Team Zeigler, we need to do that with our employees as well and our team members.
Absolutely.
And take a minute, notice what they're doing, and recognize them, and reinforce our culture. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darren, the question I had comes from the training development side. Is how do you onboard? How do you get the right people?
Oh, that's
the
good.
right roles, and then really reinforce everything you stand for
in the hotel business. Yeah.
It's funny. It's people are sometimes surprised that we don't have a formal training program at our front desk. We don't.
Yeah.
And it does surprise people. And maybe we should, I don't know, but it works. How we do it works for us.
Yeah.
And we put a huge emphasis on the interview process.
Yeah.
And so the front desk team, I'll get the second interviews. And by the time they get to me, I already know that on paper, they're good. Other managers like them. They want me to hire them probably, But it's in that second interview where I do a lot of the talking because I'm letting them know exactly what we stand for, who we are as a company. And
you're selling the vision and the culture.
I'm selling the vision. And I don't mean this in a negative way, but I want to really get them on the same page. I don't want to use the word scare, but to concern them a little bit.
Yeah.
And I tell them that it's really, after I tell them about the awards and the books and all this, they start paying closer attention. And something I'll always say is, it's hard to get a job here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're only as good, that's cliche, but we're only as good as the people we hire.
Right.
But it's hard to get a job here.
Yeah.
And then we hire them. And the goal is for them to start on day one understanding the bar.
Yeah.
Understanding, not coming in cocky and ready to go.
Yeah.
But being a little, in the healthiest way, nervous.
Yeah.
A little nervous because it's your first day of work and you want to perform.
Yeah.
And I always say, we'll know quickly if it's a good fit or not.
Yeah. You also have that sense of pride, right? Like, hey,
Absolutely.
I joined this team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to perform at a high level.
Yes.
For my team members and my customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I share with them too that you'll be a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was because we do have a reputation, and people want to be part of that team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, great answer there. Darren Ross, service freak, right? Magic Castle Hotel. If people want to find out more about you, how do they find out more about you and kind of what you guys do?
You can email me. Darren@magiccastlehotel.com. Easy.
That's super easy.
Easy.
Now, one of the questions you asked as we were in the room together, and this will be kind of our last question. I'd love to share it, all three of us. It was a fun exercise. If memory served, you said, hey, give an example of some of the best service you've ever received, some of the worst. The worst for me, I've shared this on the podcast before, went up to a Starbucks, asked for a coffee, and they said, our coffee machine, whatever that is broken. How does Starbucks coffee machine, whatever it is, not work? And they said, you can buy our muffins, but you can't have anything else. And it was just kind of, we're not going to do anything for you. I was shocked by that, right?
Yeah.
Starbucks, they create a high bar. Chick-fil-A, there was an experience set there. I think for an organization that traditionally sets a high bar and then they don't meet it, that's a big negative.
Oh, yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
One of the best experiences, St. Regis Hotel, downtown Chicago. Great hotel, incredible restaurant, delivering what you need before you even think it, right? And that's an interesting ability for an organization to be able to craft that. I would say I'm fascinated by what you've done because you're not a Ritz, you're not a St. Regis, you're a competitive hotel in a hugely competitive marketplace, and you've outpunted. But what are some examples of top service that you've experienced?
Probably, it's a good question. I should just have these, right? I should just have them.
No,
have them.
It's what impresses you as someone that teaches and preaches this.
Yeah.
Because you probably go places and you're like,
I do.
That is not That is not awesome.
Well, it's funny. It's much easier for me to tell you a list of companies that leave me wanting more.
Yeah.
Which is a nice way to put it. But
Well, let's talk before we go. So COVID ruined this industry, did it not?
Ruined it.
Why is it so easy to find all the miserable companies?
Ruined
And why does it seem like service is a tougher thing to come by today?
it is so
it
tough.
is.
Everyone, because people cut staff. People pivoted, adjusted to a smaller staff.
Yeah.
And the customer is the loser.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, really a shame. I'll give you an example of where I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you a good one too. But I was staying at a hotel, really high-end hotel in Las Vegas. I won't mention the name, but
Okay.
it's like super high-end.
Oh, you've got to tell us that.
And,
We're going to get this out of them. Okay, here we go.
And I was going expecting a lot.
Yeah.
And what I got, which is so common, completely average.
Yeah.
It was a long line to check out.
Yeah.
Housekeeping wasn't really good. They didn't show up when they said no. When they said they said they'd be there, they weren't.
Yeah.
They little request, they weren't done.
Yeah.
And it just left me with nothing.
Yeah.
Like I was paying a lot.
Yeah.
And it was really, really a shame. It was such a shame. But those things are so common
Yeah.
where you go into a place with a great reputation based on their facilities or their systems.
Right.
But when it comes down to the employee in front of your face,
Yeah.
they drop the ball.
Yeah.
And what it really comes down to is that employee on a given day, on a given shift, at a given
Yes.
moment, it's that interaction. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all
That's
I
your view
got.
of the company.
That's my view of the company.
Yeah.
And the same could be said,
Gosh,
for your dealerships.
What a challenging
right?
thing to
When they
solve
walk in.
for as a business owner.
It is. And that's why I say it's a manual process. It's
Yeah.
really hard. It has to be every customer, every time. It just has to be.
Mike, you got to give us an example.
It's all about how they make you feel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
And energy. My great one would be obviously the high-end hotels and resorts and stuff,
Yeah.
but a local mom and pop golf shop. And it's called Maple Hill Golf.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
mentioned
You've
that in
shared
a
that
previous
before.
podcast,
Yeah.
but just with the way they make you feel, they tailor the experience towards you. They
Yeah.
actually slow things down and take the time
Yeah.
to get to know you and use you by name
Yeah.
and just really
Yeah.
guide you. And they're not salesy. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't need to be.
They
They don't need to be.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I love that. I wanted.
Yeah.
I'll mention my
Yeah.
positive one. I mean,
Yeah.
all negative.
Yeah.
Is my favorite. It's not high end. It doesn't have to be. Is Trader Joe's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Trader Joe's.
I can't figure out
Because-
Trader Joe's. I go in there and I'm lost. I don't understand it.
Oh, really?
What is the deal?
Oh, it's great. They have limited products. They have incredible buyers all over the world. Like
Yeah.
buying the most unique items.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is I love that. I love that's not a huge grocery store.
Yeah, it's curated.
Curated, exactly. But what I love about it is how the employees interact with each other. And they're always happy and casual,
Yeah.
and they just seem happy to be there.
Yeah.
And I love the vibe of Trader Joe's. And then you check out, they often ask you, oh, this looks good, or have you tried this? Or
Yeah.
they're engaged. They're engaged. They're not just watching the clock,
Yeah.
checking you out.
Yeah.
They're actually a part of the process. And I appreciate it. I don't think they overdo it, but you know that they're engaged, they're present.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I love going there. I never dread going to Trader Joe's.
There's a business out west. I'm from Utah called REI. It's like an outdoor sports
yeah.
place,
Yeah.
employee owned.
Yeah, I live across the street from one.
Very similar. And I've always wondered if maybe it's the employee ownership they're bought in. I don't know how much they make or what it works
Right,
into,
right.
but there's some incentive there. So I have a prediction as we wrap up here today. Mike, thank you for making today possible. It's interesting. There's a deficit of these sorts of experiences. And I have a prediction for our audience. I think these experiences will be the definition of it'll become the stand. That we'll see a resurgent of good experience in the coming years, because people knew what a bad experience was through COVID,
Yeah.
and they so did not like it. I think most people are willing to pay a little bit extra for better, and right?
I fully agree. People want to feel good.
Yeah,
People want to feel happy. They
Yeah.
want to feel appreciated.
Yeah.
They want to feel heard.
yeah.
And we try to capitalize that at the hotel.
Yeah. And AI and technology, and as great as it is, those tools will help us better deliver to each other. But at the end of the day, it'll be a kid at a pool picking up a popsicle phone, asking, and it'll be an employee who's lit up at the idea of bringing out white gloves and a tray
That's right.
to deliver those
That's
popsicles.
right, yeah.
And it'll be a company that cares enough to deliver that
Yeah.
experience. So thank
I love
you for
it.
being here.
Oh
to
my gosh,
Team
thank you so
Zeigler.
much. Thank you,
Hopefully
everybody.
you
Thank
take away some of these things. It's awesome to craft and create our own ultimate automotive experiences. We seek to deliver our best to our customers. Mike, thank you for being here as well.
Thank you, Mike. Thank
All right.
you so much. Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
A special thanks to all who contributed to this week's episode, including Darren Ross and Mike Van Ryn.
Until next week, how are you driving vision today?